Welcome Cancer Ascendant, Cancer Rising. This is your video for February 2020, and this is All Astrology. I am going to talk with you today about out of bounds Mars during a Mercury retrograde. What does that mean, and what area of your life is this going to affect you? I'm also going to give you the dates where there's going to be the greatest confusion that could be very extreme at moments. And then I'm also going to give you the best dates for the greatest clarity. So stay tuned. Okay, we're going to start off discussing what the heck does the out of bounds Mars mean. Typically, if we understand just simply what Mars means, Mars is the area in our life where we don't give up. It is the area in our life where we think we're the leader. It's the area in our life where we want to be first. We won't back down. We're willing to fight. The planet Mars goes out of bounds at 25 degrees Sagittarius and stays out of bounds all the way until 10 degrees Capricorn. That doesn't sound like a whole lot of degrees. It's only 15 degrees. And it isn't a whole lot. Thank God it's not for a whole sign. And it's also kind of nice that it splits up between two signs a little bit because the energy will change. Sagittarian energy is typically optimistic, powerful, forward moving, can see for the future, is all about the seeking, all about the ultimate seeker. That is the sign of the astronaut, right? Going up in the spaceship, fire. And so Mars has been in Sagittarius already. It's at 23 degrees right now. So with Mars in Sag, it's been like this heat-seeking missile, right? It's looking for its goal and it's going for it, and nothing's going to stop it. When Mars goes out of bounds, I'm going to give you the date. When it goes actually out of bounds, it's not very far away, but it coincides with the full moon that we have this month. The full moon is on February 9th, okay? And this is when we express, typically full moons are already an extreme time. The energy typically, that's when the hospitals and the police and the emergency departments are all reporting in like overtime. Heavy duty shit going down because it's full moon energies. And it's not that the full moon is a bad thing. It's that the moon is releasing its beams. And when we have a release of a lot of energy concentrated all at one time, for some folks, it's too much. We all become imbalanced and extreme. And because the moon represents our emotions, it is a key factor. Now, Cancers, you understand this better than anybody. You're a Cancer ascendant. Find out what your natal moon sign is. If you have a natal moon in Cancer, this would be resonating extremely deeply for you. And I have recommendations if you are a Cancer moon, but I won't get into that here. If you're interested and you want more information, just comment below and I'll expand there on that for you. But the full moon is in Leo, and I have another video and I'll attach the link below so that you can watch that and understand better what that's going to mean. It's fiery, right? And it's energy coming in. So already we have this the cool thing about this full moon is that it's not just a lot of energy, but it is lighter energy. It's fire, so it's brighter. It lights things up. Leo in general likes to have fun, likes to have a good time. It's about joy. It's about creating. It's about sometimes we take a risk. And so we have this more of a let's play games type of atmosphere, thankfully, to help with this other extreme energy, which is Mars going out of bounds. An imbalance occurs. So if Mars is already an extreme energy, which it is, okay, Mars is what allows us to run when there's danger. Mars is what allows us to keep fighting, to never give up. That is our Mars energy. It is what we are deeply passionate about. And we need that to make it in this world, right? To succeed and to keep going with what our hopes and dreams are. And that is Mars. Mars is like, it's your willpower. It's where you assert and express your willfulness. It being out of balance means it will be more extreme. It will be short-tempered. It could even be frustrated. It can go to the degree where it's like it flips. It goes from like 0 to 10 in an instant, just like that. So we want to be a little bit more aware, especially if we can understand where it's happening in our life. Typically, it's going to be in your 6th house. Go by the degrees that I give you. You may be looking at a chart where your houses might be split. So just follow the degree. And if you happen to be looking at your chart and you're like, gee, my 25 degrees Sagittarius, you said 6th house, but mine actually 25 degrees, that's actually in the next house. It's in my 7th house. And that's a possibility. It's not about wrong or right. It's that there are different ways we can pull up charts. And so there are house systems that are whole houses and house systems that are split. So with that said, if you find out that you have your 25 degrees of Sag in your 6th house, All we got to do is know what the hell the sixth house means. The sixth house is my work. It's my daily routines. Also, daily routines could be things that you do around the home as well. Work is literally the job, the J-O-B, okay? It also is matters of my health. Health issues is also our domestic pets. We've got pets all around us, right? Especially in the house, domesticated animals. Sixth house is also how we serve those that are important to us, typically our family, our friends, okay? It's not to be confused with the 11th house, which is a serving on a large scale. It's serving humanity. It's serving a big group. Really, the 11th house is the house of a politician. But when I put it that way, it makes no sense to our world right now, does it? At all. We're completely, well, I'm not going to go there. But anyhow, get more specific, because that is also the sixth house, the details. This is a house that is Virgo energy. So I can see the minutia, all right? I can see the fine print. Sixth house is ruled by Mercury. So this has so much to do with the conversations we're having right now about the Mercury retrograding. Now let's find out, where does Mercury retrograde in your chart? Mercury is retrograding in the Pisces house. And the retrograde begins at 13 degrees of Pisces, and it goes all the way back to 28 degrees Aquarius, okay? Mercury in Pisces, Mercury is air. Mercury has wings. Mercury flies. So when Mercury is all of a sudden in the Piscean energy, while it's in flight, all of a sudden there's water. The water comes trickling in, and the closer it gets to that Piscean energy, the more water there is, and eventually it's submerged. Well, a winged being doesn't do real well underwater. It slows things down. Mercury is our information, so it could slow information down. Now, this is in your 9th house. So in other words, the 9th house is higher learning, all right? So let's combine all these things together. My information, higher learning, long distance journeys is 9th house. My beliefs and opinions, my philosophy on life. 9th house is foreigners and foreign languages. 9th house connects us to source, right? It's our spirituality. Information, higher learning. So at this time, for individuals who are in school, this would not be a good time to take tests. We had somebody comment the other day about that, and I thought, damn, that's a really great question. They said, I have a really important set of tests I got to take coming up. If I can delay them or reschedule them, would that be a good idea right now? And I said, hell yes, reschedule. Because with Mercury in the 9th, with Mercury going through Pisces and it's slowing your knowledge down, slowing information down. It's not only slowing it down, Pisces is waters, but it's murky waters. They're not clear. They're fuzzy. The details get completely covered when the water hits. Think about it. You got a piece of paper, the water hits the ink, it all blurs, it bleeds. We can't read it. We can't make heads or tails out of it. So at this time, recognize you can apply this to your beliefs, to your opinions, okay? Which you have very mutable beliefs and opinions. You're very flexible, which is wonderful. Very open to different ways of believing about things. And you might talk to God, whether you have ever worded it that way or not. You might have heard people say that, or you might have said that to folks, found yourself saying those very words. Yeah, God told me this, God told me that. And people might give you a funny look, and you're not crazy. You have Pisces in the 9th house. Like, it's the house of our spirituality, and it's Pisces, the divine. That is Pisces, right? So yeah, and we have Neptune there right now. So Neptune rules that house. So it's okay. It's actually in a really well-placed location right now for you. It's in a beautiful place. But what happens is when Mercury gets involved, Mercury is all about the details and the tangible and the logical and the rational. And Pisces energy is the exact opposite of that. So it's kind of learning how to work with the details that are being muddied and covered up. So and the 9th house is all about expanding the fuzz, right? The non-tangible, the 5D realm. Mercury is the exact opposite. It is the 3D, the tangible, the rational. It's like, well, you're telling me this. Well, I don't see it. Let me find out. Where does it say it in here, right? It's like, I need the proof. I need the text that can support what you're stating. That's Mercury. It's information. It is also trade. It is also business. It is also sales. It is also the internet and social media, which is why when it goes into Pisces, we tend to have problems with our electronics, with our devices during this time, the internet. Things get slower. So you can expect this. And if you expect this and plan for it, you navigate these waters so much more or less frustrating than other folks will. Okay, let's try to wrap this all up. Let's try to bring this all together. Let's give you some dates of when things are going to be most extreme, all right? because there are folks who have to sign things, who have to make commitments, who have to read documents, who have to do things that require their thinking, right? They have to dot I's and cross T's. And there would be a time for me personally where I would say, oh no, I won't be doing that during that time. I will definitely ask for an extension or a delay of some sort. And then there are dates that I have coming up to give you that are going to be the most clearest time, okay? Now, what I first want to put into context is if you can delay stuff, ideally wait until Mercury is out of Pisces, okay? Because Mercury does a retrograde, and when Mercury retrogrades, it goes back into Aquarius and it gets the details, okay? Because the details got muddied up, got blurred by the water. So Mercury goes back, gets the details again, and brings them back into Pisces, but this time in a waterproof case. You get it? So this time the details that Mercury brings forward, it's like, here's what I had before. Here, let's go into this cave where we're protected and there's no water, and let's read this, okay? And let's make the best we can out of it, because it's still dealing with Pisces. It's still dealing with Neptune. But at that time, you'll have recovered information you didn't have before. Whether it was deliberate that you didn't have it, or whether it was just simple, whatever, it doesn't matter. The simple fact is, details were missing, okay? And so there's that window. And if you cannot do it during that time, I would suggest to wait until Mercury is completely beyond Pisces, until she gets into Aries, okay? The cats come and they rip stuff down. Okay, so April 12th is the time, and that's a long ways off. That is when we're going to get our most clarity. That is also a time, I won't even hesitate to say, I do know that from analyzing Venus and Mars, that is when they become compatible again. The dates for right now, all you really need to know is, well, it's not all you need to know. You need to understand what the hell is going on, which I just did. All that backdoor information is so that you can realize when it's occurring, you can have your awareness, have a degree of yourself evolved in such a way where you're looking at it and you're saying, this is that. And the day you do that, when you have the capability to better develop these other degrees of your being, your soul's growth happens. And when you grow according to what your soul wants you to do, the soul rewards. And so this is the big message of astrology. That is the big message, bottom line. Learn who you are, understand, know thyself, recognize there's degrees of your being that have nothing to do with your sun sign, your moon sign, but you have to first learn all of that, right? You have to first learn all that before you can become a walker of the sky. I mean, that's really what it is. Learning how to navigate the stars in your everyday life. So I'm babbling. I will stop. February 9th to March 3rd is the Mars out of bounds. February 17th to March 9th is the Mercury retrograde. But February 17th to March 3rd is the dates where you want to be extra cautious, okay? It's a big window, and it's unfortunate because it is big. However, there is a time when Mercury is back she's at 28 degrees Aquarius, she goes direct, and she's now in air again, and she's moving fast. However, in 5 days, she'll be back in the water again. And even though she may have the right information, she's still in the water, so it still slows Mercury down. The information still comes slower. After March 9th, what I have written down on this piece of paper here is that more specifically, the ideal time, if it was me, where I had to sign and commit, it would be like March 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. I wouldn't go much beyond that, because then the Piscean waters start trickling back in and slowness begins to happen. So if you have to sign something, make it be on those days. And if that isn't a window that works for you because it's so tiny or for whatever reason, then wait, push it off until April, because April is looking to be a better time for all involved, but more specifically to your birth time. These are just general readings, all right? If you were to ever make serious decisions, submit your birth info before you do something like that. All right, so Cancer Ascendant, Cancer Rising, I hope this helps light your way.